skydiving. This is amazing.
Yeah, but you know what else is amazing? An iPhone 6S for just $49 at Metro.
Really?
Imagine streaming all the way down with that amazing camera. I'm switching.
That's smart.
You know what else is smart? Parachutes.
Switch to Metro and get an amazing iPhone 6S for only $49. Metro by T-Mobile. Phone offer requires port-in of number not currently active on T-Mobile network or active on Metro in past 90 days. See store for details and terms and conditions.
Hello, everyone, everywhere. This is Bob Thibodeau with the Kingdom Crossroads podcast, and you are listening to Life Transformation Radio with my good friend Sean Douglas. Be sure to subscribe to his podcast so you will not miss any of the upcoming episodes, and be blessed in all that you do.
Welcome to Life Transformation Radio. This show is all about life transformations and our journey from where we were to why we are doing what we are doing today. We will discuss the hiccups, the roller coasters, and the blood, sweat, and tears that has been poured out while discovering our purpose. It is all about our transformations. Here is your host, Sean Douglas.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Life Transformation Radio. I am your host, Master Resilience Implementer, TEDx speaker, business positioning strategist, and author, Sean Douglas. This show is currently heard in over 66 countries. So I want to welcome those listening from the United States, Canada, Mexico, New Zealand, Australia, India, Panama, Belgium, and a whole host of other countries. I want to thank you to those who are listening from around the world. Life Transformation Radio is all about our transformation. Here is where we tell the stories of why we're doing what we're doing. We highlight that transformational moment that has changed our lives and how we use this to help transform others and elevate their lives as well. You can listen to us live right here on the Blog Talk Radio Network at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. But don't forget, we also do episodes at 11 a.m., so be on the lookout for those. You can find out when we're doing our episodes by joining our Facebook community, Life Transformation Radio Community. You can also subscribe, rate, and review the show on any of the podcatchers such as iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn, Player FM, Radio Public, Overcast, Castbox, and the Google Play Music app, or wherever you're comfortable listening to podcasts. On my show, I bring on entrepreneurs, speakers, business owners, coaches, podcasters, authors, amazing people who are impacting the world around them. And my guest today does exactly that. If you have any questions for any of the guests that are on my show, you can call us up at 657-383-1109. Again, the number is 657-383-1109. So please help me welcome to the show my friend, how do you pronounce your last name? I can't never pronounce your last name, man.
Yeah, it's Julio Briones.
Briones. I was going to say Briones, but I don't want to hack the name, so Briones. Okay, perfect. What's up, man? How's it going?
How's it going, Sean? Everything's good with me. Thank you again for having me on. I really appreciate this.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You're doing some amazing things in the world, and what I like to do is highlight those who are transforming lives, because that's where the money is when the transformation happens. You were going one way, you were doing one thing, and now you're going in the opposite direction, and life just drastically changes. It's an amazing feeling.
Absolutely. And that definitely describes my own personal journey.
Perfect. Okay, so this episode is titled Managing Personal Crisis with Julio Briones. The average person in America has a 1 in 28 chance of getting arrested for non-traffic related crimes, and that number dramatically increases once traffic violations are added. Julio, the personal crisis manager, author, expert, and CEO of AnswerMan Specialty Services, was one of them. In 2002, he was arrested, and like most people, was not prepared for what came next because he thought it could never happen to me. His mistakes resulted in a 39-year prison sentence and became the driving force for him to learn the law and, after only serving 10 years, earn his freedom. Today, he uses what he has learned to help others get prepared and get through what could be the most trying time of their life, as well as their families. He believes that the only obstacles in life are the ones we put there, and people need to let go of the crutch of victimization if they ever want to redefine and achieve success for themselves. Now, you can find him on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and his website is AnswerMan Specialty Services LLC. AnswerMan Specialty Services LLC.com. Everything's in the show notes. Get a hold of him and just pick his brain, answer some, ask him some questions, get to work with him. He's going to help you out. So I got to ask you, man, what's your why? Like, is that your why? This could never happen to me, and then it did? Or what is your deep why for what you do?
Well, in order to really get into the why, I gotta share a little bit of how I got to that point. Now, I'm a veteran. I was in the Army, and when I was deployed to Kuwait, came back, I started helping some of my fellow soldiers go through some really tough stuff, and that's always been a driving force for me. I've always liked to help others get through, and I figured out that I had a knack for it. So if we fast forward a few years, it's like the intro that you just said about me. I really thought it could never happen to me, and I found myself with handcuffs on, sitting in the county jail, going, "Wow, is this really what my life has become?" So that's it. And let me tell you, it was tough. As I went through the process, I ended up doing a lot of soul searching. I ended up, it's one of the problems that it's a little near and dear to my heart, but because I've been through it, but PTSD is real, and it's something that it affects us in ways that unless you've been through it, it's really hard to imagine, and it caused my life to spiral out of control a little bit, and that's where it landed me, unprepared, in a jail cell, going, what the heck is going on? Okay.
So the stat that you gave, right? The stat that you gave, is that so non-traffic? So 1 in 28. So out of 28 people, someone's going to commit a crime like larceny or burglary or murder or like any crime, or is there like a certain talk to me about that specific?
Okay, so when I talk about 1 in 28 people, that is based on an FBI statistic, right? So this means non-traffic related. So it's not like we were driving down the street, got pulled over, all of a sudden you're arrested because you forgot your license or you didn't have proper insurance. This statistic is based on everything beyond that. So you could literally, and I'll tell you, I'll actually use a recent client of mine as an example. Sure. Went out with some friends, had a drink at the bar. When he blew, it was well within the legal limit, but he was still charged with vehicular homicide because even though he was within the legal limit, 2 drinks was enough for him to have killed somebody.
Wow.
That simple. That simple.
Wow.
Okay. A few years ago, I had one of your fellow airmen get caught in a situation very similar to that. Ultimately ended up getting sentenced to almost 12 years in prison for it. A couple of drinks at a Christmas party. And this is where it blows people's mind, where they're just like, this could never happen to me. Well, don't we all go out and have dinner? Don't many of us once in a while have a drink? Just a drink. A drink, you blow a tire, you crash into a car, someone gets injured, now you've committed a crime. You go out on a date in today's age, especially in today's age, we have, the Me Too mentality. Everything is. Oh yeah. I can tell you. I mean, I deal with a lot of people. I had somebody I dealt with a few years ago. 17-year-old kid, 16-year-old girlfriend. they, went and did what teenage kids do.
Yeah.
And next thing, they fall asleep, they left because age of consent is 17, not 16. The girl's father got upset, called the police, and because of the circumstances, he is serving 20 years in prison for kidnapping because because they spent the night. They fell asleep, just being kids. Okay, these are things that, there's a lot to the story, obviously, but these are situations that when you're not prepared, when your family doesn't know what's going on, when you don't know what's going on, and a prosecutor decides that he wants to swat a mosquito with a sledgehammer, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? And that's where I come in. And this is what my business is based on. It is helping people get through the process, understand what happens, what the procedures are. It's actually the basis of the most recent book that I've written, Surviving Arrest, The Complete Guide. And I hold people's hands through this process because one of the biggest errors that people make is that they fail to understand that getting arrested is not as simple as slapping on a pair of handcuffs and sitting in a county jail. You have family to worry about. You have jobs to worry about. You have the impact of how this is going to affect you the rest of your life. Let's forget a conviction. Just as simple as an arrest can hold you back from many positions. Just as simple as an accusation, if it gets enough media attention, can destroy your entire life.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We
what
see
do
it
you
all
do?
the time.
How do you deal with this? And that's where I come in. If I'm not mistaken, I don't quote me on this. I'll quote, but I believe I'm, if not the most unique service in North America right now, I'm pretty close to it. Because while there are things,
I would say so.
I'm sorry.
I said I would say so.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that do prison consulting, and that's great. I actually work with a couple of great guys that do this, and they are very useful in their capacity where they understand, like, especially you hear a lot of these guys do the federal stuff. They understand the reduction of sentence, that RDAP program, and that's fine. What I do is completely beyond that. A part of my business is helping you prepare for what surviving in prison is going to be like, but it's all the rest of it. How do you deal with your family? Where's the family dynamic? How do you build your day-to-day activities and set your own personal goals so that you have a successful reentry into society? It doesn't start, hey, I just got released from prison, now what? No, this is something that if you want to make that true and meaningful change in your life, it needs to happen. It takes a long time. You have to plan and prepare for it. And you have to understand the dynamics of interaction between you, between your family, what society is going to look at you. How do you create a plan to, get back into business if you own a business? If your intent is to go look for a job, how is a conviction going to affect your employability? Let's be realistic. If you're accused of, let's say, child pornography charges, you're not going to have your career as a daycare owner anymore. It sounds funny, but I've actually recently got asked that question. A gentleman called asking for, about my services, and when we talked about one of his charges, it was distribution of child pornography, and he happened to own a daycare. I'm like, I'm sorry,
that's crazy.
You could forget about that. Sell your business. Just walk away.
I want to sell that.
You're done. And that's what it is. That's the transformation. That is my passion in life. I really do. I'm not the most religious of people, but I am very spiritual, and I forgive me if this is crossing any bounds, but I'm a very firm believer in God. Okay. And no one. I've been through too much in my life to not believe that God has a purpose for us, and I do believe that I was saved from a 39-year prison sentence. Figure this out. That's 39 years with no early release. And I was 27 years old. That was the rest of my adult life. For God to allow me the opportunity to walk out, and now I thank him because I have my beautiful wife. My daughter's 20 years old, in college, 3.8 GPA. She just showed me her grades from this last semester, all A's, doing wonderful. I have a handsome 2-year-old son, and I have another baby on the way.
Wow!
Blessed
man,
to have all of this. You know, I've held before I started my own business. I lead by example. There's nothing I tell my clients to do that has not worked for me. Fresh out of prison, I came out, found a job, and turned that opportunity into upper management. Like, I'm talking, I actually reached the point of VP of training for a franchise company where I helped develop their entire training program and create the system they use today. And I did this with just a high school diploma and my knowledge and hard work and effort. No obstacle. I did not sit and wallow in my own self-pity. I got up and I said, I need to build a life for me and my family. I did not play the victim. I did not say, woe is me. And I'm personally a big believer in this, in that if we let go of these crutches of victimization, if we are willing to pick ourselves up and dust ourselves off, there's nothing we cannot accomplish. And I am living proof.
I love it. I love it, man. Yeah, your stat kind of threw me. I was like, wait a minute. So, like, because the way that I'm, I guess I'm internalizing that is like 1 in 28 is going to get arrested because of a non, Travis stop.
Yeah.
So, like, 1 in 28 commit a crime. Like, I don't commit crimes. Like, I mean,
no, but
again,
I guess, let me ask
I guess
you,
what you're saying is,
have you ever gotten in your car after having a drink?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like when I was like in my 20s.
Have you ever gotten into an argument with another person and had it escalate, not to where it necessarily got physical, but where it could have?
Almost all of my altercations in my 20s, almost every single one of them. If you and I were screaming at each other, I'm probably going to punch you in the face.
Right. And this is what the problem.
I got a lot of trouble.
Odds are, like, I will tell you, one of the guys that I met in prison had been signed to a farm team, professional baseball, fresh out of high school. He went to a bar, got into an argument with someone, did just that, and it was just the worst timing, worst possible situation. When the guy fell back, he hit his head on the curb and died. 30-year prison sentence.
Jesus.
1 in 28. Just because you're careful, just because you are not a criminal, does not mean that an incident cannot happen to you. And remember, I'm talking about purely an arrest. I'm not even talking about conviction. Just purely an arrest. You can walk down the street, not know where you're going, walk into an area and not see a sign that says no trespassing. That is an arrestable offense in many municipalities.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I actually got arrested. Nothing happened of it, but literally, like, I was driving and I got pulled over, and they said, "Hey, you need to exit the car." Like, all this, they're pulling me out. I'm like, what is going on? Like, I had no warning at all. So they handcuffed me, everything. They're like, "I need you to explain to me why your license plate is not for this car." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, it's not for this car." So the plate came up with some kind of like Jeep Wrangler or something, but I was driving a Volkswagen. And I was like, "Sir, I just got this. Like, I just got this from the DMV. Like, I don't understand what's going on." And he's like, "Where's your registration?" On my registration, it said Jeep Cherokee something or other, but it had my VIN number.
Oh, my goodness.
And it was them that made the mistake. My VIN number matched the car. My registration on my VIN number matched the car. So he let me go, and he says, "You have 3 days to go get a new registration, get a new plate, get it all fixed, or you're going to be rearrested." I'm like, holy crap. So like,
Oh,
because
my
I'm in the
goodness.
military, because I was in the military, and he's like, look, I trust you. It looks like a paperwork thing, and I was like, that was like, dude, that just ripped me out of the car. Like I stole the damn thing.
Yes, because
And
that
I'm
is
like,
the assumption
what?
they have to make. Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I mean, it is. And you know what? And here's the craziest part. And it's one of the things I do talk about in my book. More people in that situation talk themselves into a jail cell while
Oh my
trying to
God.
cut themselves out.
Oh my God. I've witnessed this so many times.
Yes. Look,
Everybody's like,
I deal with yes, look, let me tell you how many times I've been there. Because I work with people, and some of the families, they kind of know it's coming. Okay? You know, like you kind of know that your kid's in trouble, and you're like, so something's going to happen. So I get called into a lot of prep work, like, hey, let's just make sure that we all know it's coming. When it happens, let's be ready. And I'll tell you, it's one of the funniest things that I think I've ever been through. I'm at someone's house, and I'm talking to the family. We're trying to get everything together because, again, we see it coming. We understand that this kid he's hanging out with the wrong people, doing things he's not supposed to be. It's an inevitable situation. So we're trying to get everything in line so that when it happens, it's a smooth transition to post-bail to do everything that we're going to need to. And while I'm in the home, the police show up. And do you know that this fool sat there, and I'm screaming at him, just shut up, wait for your lawyer, shut up. He was high, and he confessed to having committed a robbery.
Oh, my God.
No, I know you're here for this and for the other, and, just sat there and gave all the details about, and the cops weren't even there for that. They were actually there because he dropped his wallet at the mall, and somebody turned it in, and the cop just happens to live on the route, and they thought, and this fool really just talked himself into handcuffs. And I'm just screaming at him, and the cop's like, are you his lawyer? I'm like, no, unfortunately. Like, now I got to go explain to his lawyer what this idiot did. Yeah, so thankfully we were able to kind of mitigate that a little bit because there's issues that were involved in how everything happened.
Yeah.
Because, when there's a difference between being detained and arrested, and people get that messed up a little bit.
So let's get that out of the way, right? Because in the military, you do a lot of detaining, not so much arresting. From the military side, right? I mean, there's a lot of detaining. You're not really under arrest. So briefly tell everybody the difference between you're under detainment and you're under arrest.
All right, it's really hard to tell because when you're detained, you can be put in handcuffs, and that's something people fail to understand. But here's the thing: when you're dealing with that situation, you're unsure. You got to ask the cop real simple. Hey, am I under arrest? That is the first question that should come out of your mouth. If the answer is no and you're still in handcuffs, your next question needs to be, am I free to leave? Because if you're not under arrest, but you're not free to leave, that means you're being detained. So the third thing that comes out of your mouth is when they ask you anything, they say, hey, listen, I don't feel comfortable talking. When I have my attorney present, we can talk about anything you want. But you got to be clear about it. You never say things like, oh, I think I need an attorney. You don't ask them, do you think I need an attorney? They're going to tell you, right.
Nah, you're good.
You're fine. Just talk to us. Listen, we can help you.
Let us know.
No, they can't.
Yeah. Right.
Let me tell
we
you
can
right
help
now.
you. Help you into a jail cell.
Exactly. And that's about it. They can help you get yourself convicted. Don't ever believe a cop when they tell you, just tell us. We'll put in a good word for you. They are not a judge. They are not a prosecutor. And those are the only people that can help you. All right? The prosecutor can make a plea agreement with you, and the judge can take into account that plea agreement and decide whether or not they want to take it, put it into effect and honor it. That's it. The police, while cooperating with them, can be helpful in the long run. In the short term, all it does is it increases the amount of charges that you're that come up before the grand jury if you're in a state that uses a grand jury.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So
if you're under arrest,
that's probably the best advice.
You're like, yeah. So if you're detained, like if you're, so if you're being placed in handcuffs, like when under arrest, like no, because a lot of times, like when they pull me out of the car and everything, they never said I was under arrest. They just pulled me up, got handcuffs, whatever. Like sit here, and I'm like, what's going on? Like, am I under arrest? They're like, no. Listen.
Exactly.
Your registration came up. I was like, I'm not under arrest. He's like, you're being detained right now. Listen to me. I'm like, okay, I'm listening.
Exactly.
So, I mean, I did just because of my military background. I was like, I just knew that, because, like I said, military does a lot of detaining.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Of course,
especially
I know.
When you're overseas,
Yeah, because you never know. It's the same concept, and it's one of the things that it's actually an analogy I use all the time. When I was in the Army, when we were out in the desert, paying people all the time because you don't know if they're going to kill you. I mean, that's just what it is. The police here have the same problem.
Yeah.
You don't know. I mean, right now, this time of year, from Thanksgiving till New Year's, most municipalities will see an increase of almost 40% in arrests because you have spikes. I mean, think about this. You have families that only see each other 2 or 3 times a year, mostly for the holidays. Many times they don't like each other. You involve alcohol into the mix because a lot of times, people will have the few drinks. Like, I don't drink. My wife doesn't drink. But we have family members that drink. It's fine if that's what you want to do. Great. But you put that volatile mix together. I mean, just think about this. If you have an ex-husband and an ex-wife, they come together for the holidays because of the kids, that's a volatile situation. You mix alcohol into it, makes it worse. So now you have drunk driving, you have spikes in domestic violence, aggravated assaults, all sorts of things. And if there's enough alcohol mixed in, you're also running the risk of possibly somebody getting stabbed or shot. So there's attempted murders, everything. Just overall, everything escalates during the holidays. It's the happiest time of the year until you find yourself in a jail cell.
Wow. Yeah, wow. I didn't know that big of an increase. Jeez. Yeah. But because you got family, like you don't see your family, like that one uncle or aunt, or the son hates the father, or like there's always this.
Exactly.
Yeah, wow.
I mean,
Jeez,
it's been ages-old jokes about that drunk uncle that always makes a fool out of himself. Well, if you get the drunk uncle,
Cousin Eddie,
and who wants to be an idiot, and you've got his ex-wife's new husband who doesn't understand that this guy's just a drunken idiot, you've got a recipe for a family fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. And remember, some people just, it's nature for some people to be petty. And out of spite, they show up with people that they know they shouldn't. It happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's all about family dynamic. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about the transformation. So your transformation, you were sentenced to 39 years in prison, only served 10. That's awesome.
Yes, thank you.
I mean, not that you went to prison, but you only got to serve 10 years of that. So talk about the transformation either that you went through or the transformation that you help others go through. Because I don't think that, unless you're like a super like hardened, like mastermind, like no one's like, yay, going to prison. You know what I mean?
No. Oh God. Well, look, for prison, I have prison is a wake-up call for a lot of. Definitely was for me. Mm-hmm. Just getting arrested was a huge wake-up call for me, and I realized that there was something broken within me. There's no, I can't put it any other way. And like many of our brothers and sisters, in arms, I refused to go and get help. So I didn't come to terms with the fact that, there's things that happened that kind of left the wiring a little messed up, all right? So I was hanging out with the wrong people. I was drinking. I was, just not doing what I should be. And here I am in the jail cell. So that was my wake-up call. And when I got sentenced for 39 years, first of all, I passed out twice, okay, because I didn't understand that whole consecutive and concurrent and what merges and everything. And I did the math, and I thought I was getting 150 years. So, the 39 years, it was a huge deal for me. I sat in that cell when they brought me back to the jail because they revoked my bail immediately. And I cried for 3 days. And it took me 3 days to process how badly I screwed up my life. So it took time, and it took finding myself. I didn't find out what level of gratitude I had. I didn't come to understand the spiritual aspect of it until much later. But those first few years, I had to figure out what was my purpose. What was it that I needed to do to make sure that if I did get a second chance at life, I would never repeat the mistakes again. And that's actually how I teach people. I use very small goal setting, dynamic and self-accountability. And I developed this within myself, stuff that worked for me. I figured out something that's a little, people look at me a little strange when I talk about it until they understand what it is. And that's, I actually harnessed the power of love and hate. I found what I loved enough in life, more than myself, to use it as a driving force for change, that catalyst. And I also sat there and thought about everything that was happening to me and what was it that I hated about the situation to make sure that I never went back to it. Okay? And this is through coaching and through exercises, this is how I help people. I actually help them find what it is that they love to force that change. What is it that they hate about what they're going through? How is it that we can create milestones, daily activities, get into the habit of making a habit? Okay? How is it asking yourself the greatest question when you're confronted with something insurmountable? Does this make sense? I am afraid to succeed. I am a victim because, well, why? Does it make sense? Does it really, when it comes down to it, I can't have a future because I've been arrested? No. How does that make sense? Explain to me. Show me where it's written. Show me where it is in life that says you can't have a future because you did this. I was a drug addict. I have to completely separate myself from everybody. No, you do not. You can be forgiven. You can be loved. You can move forward. That is where the transformation happens. It's a long process, and it's something that I actually give people the tools as they go into the system because I understand it doesn't happen overnight.
Right.
If it's something that you, like in your situation where you were arrested but nothing really came of it, someone like that wants to make that change, we sit there, we work through it. It's all part of managing the personal crisis. And that's what it is. It's a complete approach. Let's first give you the tools to fix the situation, and now let's give you the tools you need to fix yourself. To create that catalyst that's going to redefine success for you. Let's stop looking at the Joneses. Let's stop looking at the Kardashians. Let's stop looking at all the fake stuff on Instagram, and let's figure out what makes you successful to you. Some people, it's really as simple as, I just want to be able to work a job that I can sustain myself and my family and just be happy and be accepted by who I surround myself with. Great, let's work on that. For someone else, it might be, hey, I want to make $1 million a year. Great, but let's figure out how to get there. What's it going to take? And let's redefine success for you. Let's not worry about what Mrs. Jones down the street says. What's it going to take for you to be successful?
I love that you do like the mentor, like the coaching.
I'm sorry? I didn't hear.
So I love that you do the coach. I love that you do the mentoring, because it's not like you just go in and go, hey, you messed up, you did this. Here's what you got to look forward to for the next 30 years. See you later.
Yeah, no.
You know, like there's a mentoring, there's a coaching, there's a working through. Like you don't just be like, hey man, this is what you look forward to, and like I'll see you later, and like that's the end of it.
Right.
I love that.
It's not that simple. Like one of the things, and this is how I actually work with. I'll give you a scenario of how I ideally work with my client. So let's say client X just got arrested. Their family reaches out to me. So yes, my priority, because time is of the essence, is going to be first, let's get A, B, and C in place. You need resources. You need things done so that should worst case scenario happen, everything is prepared. Now, in the meantime, I'm working on something called the mitigation packet. I call it a humanization packet. Attorneys call it mitigation packets, because I need to make you look like a human being to the courts. And how am I going to do that? Well, I have to show all of this stuff that you're doing. Yeah, you go to church, you do everything else. But what are you doing to change your ways? What are you doing to truly show remorse? And that's where my coaching comes in. Because part of the packet that I do to get through this, and it works for the courts and for parole and everything, is we work together, let's develop a plan, let's work the plan, and let's create this report from my end or my staff where we're going to show that you're making real strides at changing what caused the problem in the first place. And if there's no, and I'll tell you, I've had clients very upset with me, because if I'm not seeing the progress, I don't lie for anyone. You know, you have to put in the work, because I'm not going to sit there and tell, you know, a judge that, hey, this guy deserves a second chance when he's done nothing but still sitting home and getting high. You know,
right.
And this is, and that I think is such a big component. You know, why? Well, for all of it, just in life in general, you have to be willing to change after you make mistakes and understand, you know, what needs to be improved. But especially if going through something like this, no one else will trust you if you have not shown growth and true remorse. Because that's something I think is very big. Many people confuse real remorse with, oh, I'm sorry I got caught. You know, like everybo's sorry they got caught. Right?
Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh.
Real remorse comes with change.
That's a thing.
You know, with effort. What?
That's a thing though. Like I didn't mean to laugh, but that's a thing. Like people are like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I got caught."
Oh yeah. Oh God, yes. Look.
I
one
must
of
be
my
super
services,
naive.
I actually help prepare people for sentencing, and you know, I've sat there in court many times, and I've worked with somebody and said, "Listen, don't say you're sorry you got caught." And I've heard people actually say, like, yeah, you know, I'm sorry that my getting caught doing this is causing my family to spend all this money, and that, you know, I'm sorry that, you know, that I'm not going to be able to see my kids. And I'm just sitting there like, are you kidding me? How about, hey, I'm sorry for how my actions affected other people's lives. How about, hey, I'm sorry for what I've done, and this is what I did to correct it. You know, but yeah,
no, I totally get that.
You'll hear that a lot.
Wow.
People, 90% of the people are sorry they got caught, and they show no real remorse.
So I would be sorry for a lot of things that I would do. Like, I don't know, like if I was, you know, let's say I'm hooked on drugs, and I'm trying to break into people's houses to grab money so I can get drugs and stuff. Like, yeah, man, that kind of sucks. Like I'd be, you know, for me, that would be like, man, I'm really sorry that my actions, you know, if someone rapes my daughter and I go and kill them, probably not going to be sorry, man. That's just me. I got 3 girls. Well, probably not going to be sorry. That's like the one thing. Like, I'm racking my brain on, like, why would I not feel sorry? And I'm a pretty remorseful dude. I'm a Christian. You know, I had a bad, like, way back past, real bad past. But the only way I would go back to that mentality and like the jail and like all the stuff that I've been through, if someone was to, like, you know, kill my family, kill my wife, kill my kids, you know, my mom or whatever, or if someone like raped my daughter or something like that and I killed them, like those 2 things, I tell the judge, yeah, I'm happy. I got 1 rapist off the street. Never going to do it again. Got it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Other than that, any other crime, if I killed somebody because I was I was drunk or something, yeah, I'd feel really freaking bad, like super bad.
Right. But here's the thing, and and this is something that's slightly controversial, and
Sure.
I'm every time I talk about this, the shows, I get a lot of strange comments. But the fact is this, I hear all the time, oh, it's a racist system. Oh, it's because you're black or brown, you're going to automatically get a higher sentence. Let me tell you something. I'm Spanish. I am a 6'1", 300-pound Spanish man with visible tattoos on my neck.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I can tell you, I did not get 39 years because I'm Spanish. Okay, I got a 39-year sentence because when I was growing up in my neighborhood, I was taught men are supposed to be hard. Yes, I broke down crying, but I did that in the privacy of the cell I was put in. When I was in front of the judge, I just stared him down because men don't show weakness. And it's a cultural thing. And that is the big difference, because the guy that got sentenced right after me killed someone. And when he was in front of the judge, he broke down crying and he started doing everything that I should have done. I'm so sorry that my actions have such deep-reaching impact for that family, for myself, blah, 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 blah. And he did this, and you can truly see the pain that this guy was going through because he understood how his actions negatively impacted someone else. He got 20 years for that instead of life. Okay? I got practically the rest of my life because I didn't understand that. Right?
Wow.
And I can tell you, I have coached many clients, many. Look, understand, this is remorse. This is what they need to see. Let's create this environment to where they see just kind of like a holistic approach. What you've done, who you are as a human being, convey that. And I'll tell you one of my greatest successes. There was a guy, a young Spanish kid, that he was very dark-skinned, like you could easily confuse him for African-American, all right? Got in front of the judge, second offense. He was a felon with a firearm, had all sorts of drugs, like enough that, by rights, he should have gotten about 20 to 25 years. But because it was a long process. It was 2 years before he got to that point. And I worked with him. We put him into rehab. We did a whole bunch of stuff and showed the humanity to the court. And without any real prompting, he actually just sat up there and he took responsibility. He was a true, from my definition, a true man about it. This is what I did. I'm sorry. He apologized to his family. Just really went into why what he did was wrong, how he understood it. He didn't actually cry because, if it's not in you, don't fake it. But you can see in his body language and everything that he understood and that he needed to take responsibility for his actions. He spent a total of 9 months in prison.
Damn.
From 20 years, the judge saw, and they redid everything, dropped some of the charges, and reduced the degree of the offense on some of the other charges so that he can get what's called a flat sentence and see parole. And he was able to make it out on parole after 9 months.
That's awesome. Man, I got deep respect for what you do, man. That's tough.
Thank you. It's not easy sometimes. Let me tell you, I will tell you, I do thoroughly assess the people that I work with. I don't work with everybody, and I probably turn down more clients than I accept because if I don't see that it's worth my time and effort, money's great. I'll tell you, I do charge for my services. I'm not a nonprofit. I am a for-fee service, and I have a family to feed, but I will never let my integrity get ahead, go by the wayside. I have my values. So I would rather turn someone away and say, hey, listen, here's what you can expect. If you want to know the process, go buy my book. It's $20. It's a lot cheaper than paying me, but go figure it out because you have no desire to really do this, and that's it.
Yeah.
And that's why the attorneys that I've worked with, they have respect for me because they understand that I'm there to do my job. I'm there to help their client, and I'm there to increase the value that they bring by bringing me in to work with their client. And I'm not going to sacrifice my own values for it.
Perfect. I love it, man. So we got to wrap up the show. We got about 3 minutes left. So let's do a shameless plug. You can plug friends, quotes, websites, Facebook, whatever it is that you want to let the listeners know. This is the time. Shameless plug moment. Go.
Okay, shameless plug. Surviving Arrest, the complete guide, available on Amazon.com for about $22. Order, it's a great book, 180 pages of information that you're not going to get anywhere else. Next shameless plug, I am available for workshops for your corporate events. I will come in and teach your employees how to prepare for these events. We do quarter day, half day, and full day seminars on building your personal crisis toolbox, where we will cover everything from arrest, senior care, divorce, whatever it is that could come along the way. We have a toolkit that will help you prepare for it. And it's, just look me up on my website, AnswerMan Specialty Services, LLC.com.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Outstanding, man. Okay, so we're going to leave the audience with one golden nugget. So give us a nugget of knowledge that will motivate, transcend, and inspire someone to take action today.
Okay. I've actually thought about this in preparation for coming on your show because I've heard other episodes and I knew something like this was coming. Here's the thing. We can be our own worst enemy. If you want to change, let go of the crutches. Ask yourself, does it make sense? That's the best advice I can give someone. Because if it doesn't make sense, there's no reason for it to stop you.
I love it. Dude, it's awesome, man. Dude, I'm serious, man. I got a newfound respect for what you do. I kind of knew what you did, and now we dig into it. Man, I got a deep respect for what you do, man. It's not easy.
Thank you.
You see a lot of different things. You work with a lot of different people, man. So, yeah, man, thank you for coming on the show, man. Thank you for being an amazing guest and telling us exactly how you transform lives.
All right. Thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate this, and, take care.
Yeah, you too. So, Life Transformation Radio listeners, an amazing guest doing amazing transformational work. If anything has resonated with you, please get a hold of Julio Briones. Dude, the guy is amazing. He's changing lives in the most amazing way possible. So, if anything resonated with you, subscribe, rate, and review Life Transformation Radio. We'd love to hear from you. As we close, I always say, live your brand. Find opportunities every day to live out the core values that you hold deep in your heart. And I call this living your brand. So until the next episode, live a great life.
For a limited time at Sprint, get $50 for each new phone you lease when you switch. That's right, you'll get $50 for each new phone on a prepaid MasterCard issued by MetaBank member FDIC. Just register for the card online and you're good to go. Get a network built for unlimited and a great price at Sprint. It's the best of both worlds. And get $50 on a prepaid MasterCard for each phone you lease. Visit a Sprint store this weekend only for sizzling Sprint Saturday deals.
Card terms, conditions, and expiration apply.
160,000 miles. That's on average how often you'll use your car insurance. But what if you could get help with more often? Maybe save a couple of bucks on clothes or at restaurants. What if you could even get rescued roadside when a tire goes flat or your battery dies? You can, when you're a member and your auto insurance is AAA. Insurance that's not just insurance. Talk to a AAA insurance agent or visit AAA.com/insurance to learn more about how AAA works at every mile.